Hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar on building a coaching business. Definitely excited to be here with all of you today. Typically these webinars are done by guest presenters, and because of scheduling this time around, I got the chance to be here with you. So excited about the conversation we're going to have. Our focus today is on building a coaching business. I am seeing, it looks like about half the people on the call have actually already taken the class, and so some of you are aware of some of these concepts. We're hoping to reinforce and build on that. I definitely want to make sure we're answering all of your questions. I did go through all the questions that were submitted ahead of time and feel like most of that is built in. Please absolutely feel free to go ahead and type in another question. And I also think today we can open up this option. We've got an hour, so I'm going to open this up. If you want to come on live and ask your question, raise your hand. And if you raise your hand, I will unmute you and invite you to talk live, and we'll have a conversation. So looking forward to what we're going to be covering today. Our focus is, first off, the planning side of a coaching business, the preparation, and then having the business and marketing plans. And then we're going to get into the actually, okay, now I'm ready to start that business, the logistics and operations side. And then when we talk about growing your business, we'll dig into some of the PR, marketing, referrals, etc. So in terms of the planning, the first thing I want to do is call your attention to our Staircase to Success coaching model. Those of you that have completed the coaching training, it's very much built on this model, this concept, and it gives you some great insight in terms of preparing for a coaching business, whether or not you've taken the training program. So let's go here. Imagine the coaching relationship as a staircase to success. So when you have that staircase, first thing you're going to do is put in the framework for it. And that framework in a coaching business really is your training, your competency, and your ethics. So whether you've done the certification program, you're looking at it, wherever you're at with that, having that in place is huge. That's your preparation. The funny thing is the ICF has done a lot of studies on this, and the number one threat to the coaching profession, to what we all do, is untrained coaches. And when they're untrained, or the training failed to address the competencies and the ethics, then what's happening is they're well-intentioned. They just don't know what they don't know. So that's an essential foundation framework for building your coaching business. The coaching relationship itself is the steps. So you start with having your coaching agreement. Now, in terms of a coaching business and building a coaching business, what does that mean to you? Well, number one, being comfortable with the conversation you have with prospective referrals or prospective clients. The conversation about what a coach is and what a coach isn't, defining those roles. That's the first step in an agreement. The second step, of course, is the written agreement. Those of you that have completed the training, you've seen 3 examples on the coach login page. Here's the bottom line. Before you are talking to your first possible client, you want to already have that agreement. Think about it this way. If somebody says, okay, yeah, I'm ready to hire you as a coach, all of a sudden you've got to scramble and put together a written agreement, and that's where the mistakes come in. So getting that agreement ahead of time, having it ready to go is essential. So an agreement that you're going to share with your client and sign with them. And of course that agreement is going to refer to your code of ethics at the least. It will have clauses in there that are from the code of ethics. That agreement is going to define the relationship. It's going to define the parameters of how you're functioning together. Now, in your coaching business, once you have an agreement in place, a key to you building your coaching business is the work that you do. That's how you're going to get the word of mouth, the referrals, the recommendations, etc. And it starts with you really understanding your client. Who are they? What do they want? What are their objectives? And having that conversation. You want to be effective in developing rapport. the way you develop rapport with the client is effectively flexing to their style, what works for them in how you have the conversation and how you function together. And then from there, your communication process. During coaching sessions, of course, we talk about the competencies of listening, of clear, direct language, of powerful questions. In a coaching business, it's bigger than that. Think about it this way, the emails you send in between coaching conversations, the occasional call in between coaching conversations, etc. All of that is part of your communication. In addition to that, it's how you communicate to the world what your business is, what you offer, and how it works. So the coaching process itself, of course, is pulling on those competencies, and you're applying the same coaching skills in everything you do as you build your business. We talk about exploration. Well, that makes sense. In a coaching relationship, exploring what are the possibilities, the options, the solutions. Apply that in your business as well. Expand your thinking, challenge your own thinking. What else can you do? How else can you do it? What are the possibilities, the options, and the opportunities? And just like we, in a coaching relationship, are developing a strategy, the client is figuring out their strategy and their action plan, you're doing the same thing for yourself as a coach and your coaching business. And that's how you are going to be successful, both serving your client and building your business. So, what are we talking about here? Well, first off, the preparation side, the training, the competency, the ethics. Then we're going to get into the business plan and the marketing plan. So in terms of the training, for those of you that are familiar with what we offer at the Center for Coaching Certification, you've taken perhaps the Certified Professional Coach. Some of you I'm seeing have actually taken also the Master Coach. Another part is going to become membership in the International Coach Federation. Those of you who are still looking at training or planning, here's the bottom line. When you're going to have a coaching business, it is absolutely essential to be a member of the International Coach Federation. You see, the bottom line is this. Yeah, coaching is still technically uncontrolled. Anyone can say, yes, I'm a coach, I do coaching, and that's changing. As a profession, we will either successfully self-regulate through the International Coach Federation, or government is going to step in and regulate. If you look at what has happened traditionally when government steps in and regulates, what they're going to do is go to the International Coach Federation and say, gee, how should we regulate this? And get the input. When you're putting yourself out there professionally as a coach, you will find more and more often that businesses and individuals know to ask whether or not you're a member of the International Coach Federation. I know that when I took out my insurance, I got asked whether I was a member of the International Coach Federation. So it really is the gold standard, that membership. Okay, that's part of the preparation. Another part is your process. So if we take, for example, what we did in the Certified Professional Coach program, for those of you who have not been there, whether it's that or something else, we're very specific in terms of the process we offer. So first off, we do what we call an introductory session. That introductory session for people who are building a business is a great marketing tool. It's free 20 to 30 minute introductory coaching session, a mini coaching, if you will, so that that prospective client has a chance to experience what coaching is like and what you're like as a coach. Once you've done that, you have an opening session, a full-blown exploration. We spend extra time on that, and then from there, it's how are we going to support that client being focused and engaged in that second session. So that's our initial process, the intro and opening and a second session. The ongoing coaching relationship is about prioritizing, strategizing, developing the action plan, and then looking at the progress and the success. Now, having all of these pieces, yeah, you move between them. You jump from one to the other. It's all based on what's going on with the client. Now, of course, when you are wrapping up a coaching relationship, it's about supporting the client's use of what they've gained from the coaching relationship for the long term and planning for them how they're going to continue moving forward. Now, what is the significance of having a coaching process when you're building a coaching business? Huge. Back to the Harvard Business Review, many of you have heard me mention. When somebody is hiring a coach, they want to know two things. What's your experience, and do you have a process? And being able to illustrate your process makes it easier for you to market your coaching business. So think about having an illustration on your website. Think about having it as something you can share with clients. At the very least, creating your own illustration of your coaching process gives you clarity on exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it. That's part of your preparation. Then, in terms of the core competencies, the ICF publishes 11 core competencies. Those of you that have taken the program have received 2 handouts on it. One is the handout from the International Coach Federation on the core competencies. For those of you who haven't taken the coaching class, I can share with you, if you go to the ICF website, coachfederation.org, they have the competencies there. And there's a great second document to look at. So the first one explains the 11 competencies, goes into a lot of detail. The second document is called the comparison table, and it gives you exactly how the ICF is evaluating those competencies. So for example, if you're going to pursue a credential with the ICF, they have an exam process. And they're looking at, this is how they know whether or not you've developed this competency. So that comparison table is, to me, incredibly insightful. It gives you the do's and don'ts for each of the competencies. So most of you are familiar with these. I know I do have enough people on here. I'm just going to take a quick minute going through them and then keep going. So the competencies that the ICF publishes are put into 4 different categories. And then there's 11 competencies spread out amongst those categories. The first category is setting the foundation. They talk about having ethical guidelines. They talk about having a coaching agreement. So the code of ethics is your ethical guidelines, making sure you've covered that in a class. Having that written coaching agreement, we talked about that. Their second category is co-creating the relationship, developing the trust and intimacy. Think about rapport with your client, and then really being present to who they are and adjusting and flexing the process to them. Your third category is the communication side. You're listening, you're questioning, and your clear, direct language. Again, it's supporting the coaching model we talked about, and it's very much a part of the coaching process itself. And there are some specific techniques for really developing these competencies. It's funny how often we think, oh yeah, I can do those things. And then when you start practicing some of the specific techniques, it's an eye-opener. It's, oh, okay, wow, there really is room to grow here. And then, of course, facilitating learning and results. So the way we communicate supports creating awareness because we challenge the client's thinking, we expand it. We're supporting them designing their actions, planning, and goal setting. And then, of course, on the accountability side, hey, what's the progress? What are the successes? And serving with them to monitor that progress and celebrate along the way. So that's the competencies. All of that's preparation. Ethics. Well, the ethics, again, have different categories. The ICF Code of Ethics is on their website. We publish it. We do a full class just on ethics. The first category is professional conduct at large, and it gets into how you describe yourself as a coach when you are building your business, making sure that you're really clear and the accuracy of what you're saying as far as the experience you offer. It also gets into information such as what records you keep and how long you keep them, etc. The second category in the Code of Ethics goes into conflicts of interest. And the key takeaway is the transparency, being extremely transparent with clients or potential clients and having those conversations, making sure you're addressing that. The fourth section in the Code of Ethics goes into your professional conduct, how you're interacting with the client, components of what's in your agreement, and then in addition to that, talking about whether or not you're going to continue the coaching relationship. And the key there is we do that when it's benefiting the client. And if it is not benefiting the client, we're out of there. Confidentiality. The biggest mistake we see people make is they think that they are going to give information to the company about the individual they're coaching. And that's a violation of confidentiality because the client is the person you coach, not their company. Their company is what's called the sponsor. And so digging into how you handle that is huge. Now, when you are a member of the ICF, they actually require you to pledge to honor the code of ethics, abide by it, and they hold you accountable to it. They have a process for people to contact the ICF and say, hey, this person's violating these ethics, and they investigate it. So it's important to know that's one of the reasons the ICF is such a gold standard in terms of our profession. Okay, so that's huge preparation. Now we're going to shift into planning. When you are planning a coaching business, the first step is setting yourself up to develop your business and marketing plans, and this starts with having a mission statement. What is your mission statement? In one sentence, 12 words or less, explaining what it is you do, what you offer, and then having a vision statement. And a vision statement is, hey, this is the result of my mission. And again, one sentence, here's the vision. You definitely want to have your code of ethics as a component to this and define your core values. By setting yourself up with these components, when you're developing your business and marketing plans, you've got your focus, you've got your framework and your groundwork for those plans. The business plan itself, what's it going to include? Well, you've got what are your goals? How much time do you want to work? How many clients do you want? What do you want to make? What do you want from this business? Now, the plan itself, you're going to have an executive summary. You're going to have a company description. You'll talk about how you're managing your business, the organization of it, the products you offer, the services you offer. Okay, wait a minute. Many of you are looking at this and going, okay, wait a minute, I'm a coach. I'm talking about a service. Well, many coaches also have products available. They have publications they've done. They have recording programs they've done. They also will offer, for example, different training programs. Consulting services is another add-on on the services side. So very often when people are in business as a coach, there's more than one thing going on. They're doing other things as well. And it absolutely makes sense to be exploring what you offer there. The marketing plan is actually a component of the business plan, and then your operating plan on a day-to-day basis. Your financial plan, oh yeah, we got to have a budget. Now, I'm giving you a super quick outline. Those of you that are certified, you had the class where we went through having a business plan. Also, on our website, on the resources page, you can link to a number of great options in terms of helping you develop the business plan and the marketing plan. So if you look under on the resources page and just scroll down, you're going to see links to things like the Small Business Administration, where you can find examples of these plans, explanations, and they even offer very inexpensive classes on how to write them. Okay, the budget itself, that's a big one. So most people get, okay, I got to set aside money to start a business, to set myself up, to market myself. Now, here's the big one that people miss, the routine expenses. It takes time to build a coaching business, and you're going to have routine expenses kicking in before you have the income kicking in to cover it. So you've got to plan for that ahead of time. Yes, of course, your income goals, being realistic. When is the income going to start? And it's going to grow incrementally. So, yeah, if my goal is to make $100,000, am I going to be doing that next week? I've got to plan the time to get to those income goals. On the marketing plan itself, what are you looking at? Well, you're doing your market research. You're defining what the barriers are. Who is your target market? This is huge. We talk about having a niche in the coaching world, and part of the reason we do that is it's helpful when you're marketing yourself. You know who you're going to. What's your competition? What is your unique selling proposition? How are you pricing yourself? And then your forecast, thinking through your process, your timeline, etc. Now, a big part of your marketing plan is your strategies. There are different ways to market yourself, and there are different things you accomplish based on how you're marketing yourself. We're going to get into a few of those strategies in a little bit. Be intentional with what you want to accomplish and create your timeline and your schedule for what you're doing as far as the marketing goes. Okay, now you're going to shift into starting your business. You've prepared, you've done your planning, and it's time to take off. Let's go. So the first thing you're doing is setting up your business ownership, whether it's a license, whether it's a corporation. Most common people look at either a C Corp or an LLC. You're going to decide whether or not you want to have insurance for yourself and what other professional services make sense. Gee, do you want to talk to an attorney? Do you want to talk to an accountant? Setting up your bank account, etc. So all of those pieces, you get them in place. Then your office itself, okay, setting it up. Do you want to go over the top and spend a ton of money on this gorgeous office? Well, there's probably a balance. You want your office to be comfortable, you want to enjoy being there, and you also want to manage your budget initially. You want to have your forms in place, your coaching agreement, other tools that you're using. For example, if people are paying you with a credit card, how are you handling that? You probably have different tools that are available. Some of it's questionnaires, some of it is tools or resources that are available for clients. Have your processes in place and making sure you're set up there. Then when you get to the stage of growing your coaching business, okay, what does that involve? So we've got the whole marketing side coming in, the PR, managing your exposure, the marketing where you're communicating value, the advertising, paid promotions, referrals, which is word of mouth, and then expanding with other services. So let's dig into each. Growing on the PR side, press releases. So yeah, there's probably local places you can submit those. You can also do those online. Now I will share with you, when you do them online, a big part of the reason you're doing that is what's called search engine optimization, increasing visibility to your website. So it's a component. Publishing articles, getting yourself out there, demonstrating your expertise and your credibility is a PR function. And then, of course, social media. In the marketing program that we do after the coaching certification, we talk about the basics, the absolute essentials that you've got to have. You've got to have a LinkedIn presence. You've got to have Facebook. Twitter's huge. YouTube channel. Oh, my goodness, more people search on YouTube than Yahoo or Bing. So being present in the social media. Of course, you do want to manage how much time you're doing with that. Plan, hey, setting up your profile and committing time to doing that. And then plan your time on a daily basis, 5-10 minutes. So that you're in there, you're engaged, and you're keeping it active and consistent. Now, on the marketing side, your website. And sometimes people say, do I really have to have a website? And here's the bottom line. That's like saying, do I really want to be listed in the phone book? You see, in today's world, we don't have phone books anymore. We use the internet. So having a website is like listing yourself in the phone book. And then beyond that, how effective is your website? And of course, for a coaching business, this is a balance. Sometimes the thought is, okay, I've got to spend a ton of money and have this great fancy design and the search engine optimization, which can get very expensive, and all these other wonderful things. And then there's also the reality side. Okay, what's the budget and planning? So even starting initially with a basic website, huge. There are some simple things you can do in terms of the search engine optimization that makes sense. How much more do you want to do beyond that? Well, again, it's balancing that time and the budget. Your social media is also a marketing tool. You're putting out information, you're promoting what it is you offer, and it's a great place, for example, if you want to do a webinar like this one and let people know, hey, I'm offering this, it's a great way to get it out there. Content marketing is huge in the marketing space. It goes back to what we talked about with the articles. So when you're doing content marketing, you're publishing information that demonstrates your expertise as a business owner. Ways to do content marketing, yes, it includes articles, it includes blogging, it includes getting published in a book, it includes all of those opportunities in terms of publishing. Video is huge and it's growing. Email is another way you market. You build your email database. Some of that, well, you've got some people you know. Some of it is use your social media to have people sign up for your email list, offer a free newsletter, etc. And then you're getting information out there, putting it out there in terms of programs and offerings and services through marketing emails. Now, paid advertising. There are different ways you can pay to advertise. One is an online directory listing. For example, for graduates of the Certified Professional Coach program, we've got an online searchable directory. It links directly to you. It has your phone number, your email address, your bio that you write up, and you're listing yourself there. Another option for paid advertising is print in the media. Now, definite pros and cons to this. Think about it this way. When you do a print ad in a magazine, very often, yes, the magazine's around for a long time. The question is, what's the cost and what's the return on that? Because print ads can be very, very expensive, and are people really going to use it to find what you're offering? So it's weighing the pros and the cons of print ads. And then, of course, internet or TV ads. TV being very expensive. Internet, it varies. Sometimes internet ads are very expensive. Sometimes they're inexpensive. What's the return going to be for you? So looking at the different choices. People think about, for example, Google AdWords. You can advertise on Facebook and LinkedIn. And then, of course, there are other websites that allow people to advertise. They actually sell advertising on their website. And looking at, okay, is that where my ideal client is going to find me? So this is part of what you're considering for getting yourself out there. Now, referrals are huge, absolutely huge. It is essential that you consider this part of your plan for your business and growing your business. So your network, people that you already know. Sometimes people think, yeah, but they don't want coaching. Okay, they know somebody who does. Or, gee, they're too close to you for you to feel like you're effectively coaching them. Great, they know people who are looking for a coach. So it is absolutely huge that you are connecting with your network, talking to people, letting them know. When you do have coaching clients and they're excited about what they're accomplishing, ask them to spread the word, because they're happy to let other people know. One of the biggest ways people build a coaching business is by asking their clients. It's also earning referrals. How do you earn referrals? The work you do, whether it's offering a program, doing the content marketing, whether it's going out and speaking, etc., you're earning referrals by getting yourself out there. Now, I want to share another great idea in terms of building your coaching business. One of the options for expanding your services is group coaching. Group coaching is wonderful. It's a fabulous opportunity, and it's a tremendous business builder. So here's the bottom line. First off, for somebody who's thinking about coaching, joining a group is an easy entry point. It's easier to say, okay, I'm going to be one of a group. It's easier in terms of cost. So it's more comfortable for people to start into experiencing what coaching does and what it offers. For people that are clients or thinking about signing up as a client, it provides an added value. So, for example, you can offer the option of a group coaching program once a month or twice a month, something like that, as an easy entry. You can offer a package. Okay, I'll do one individual session and one group session each month, and here's the price point. And that's more doable for people than pure individual coaching. In addition to that, there's added value. When they participate in a group, guess what's happening? They get to hear other ideas. They're involved in a brainstorm. They're engaging with people. So they really like that. They like knowing there are other people who have the same general focus and the exchange of ideas. It's also a fabulous option when you've worked with a client for a period of time and they're ready to move on. Okay, so coaching relationships have a finite time period that averages a year. Well, after that, when they have a group coaching option, they love the idea of, okay, I'm moving past having the one-on-one coaching. I really gained a lot, learned a lot, changed a lot, and that group coaching is a service they can tap for maintaining what they have accomplished and continuing to keep themselves on track. So it's a wonderful opportunity all the way around, and it's a tremendous business builder. If you are a coach, this is a huge, huge consideration. It makes sense to offer group coaching. Now, another one in terms of expanding services and ways that you're also demonstrating your credibility. So first off is training programs. Offer classes. What are the different options? Well, think about it this way. You can do a quick 1-hour program like this one. Maybe it's a free one. Maybe you charge something very minimal for it because it's a quick program. Well, what happens there? Here's what I've found. Every time I volunteer or sell a quick training program, I have people asking me, hey, will you coach me? And you do build clients that way. Getting in front of people is huge. When you're doing a training program, it's a great tool because you can market the training program. People come, they get your expertise, and that's where you get the follow-up. Now, training programs happen at all levels, so let's talk about it. There's the 1-hour program like this. For example, I mentioned at the beginning that most often these are done by guest speakers. Well, what does that mean? That means I'm taking their 1-hour program and I'm promoting it to my email list of over 10,000. Okay, there's value to them. They just got their program with their name, their email address, their website put out to my email list. So, did they get paid for doing it? No. Do they get clients out of it? Most often that's what we're finding is happening. Is there a guarantee? Of course not. So they put together a training program. They do it for an hour. When they do a program, here's what you'll find, whether it's with the Center for Coaching Certification or a different organization, people look at your PowerPoint ahead of time. They want to vet it, make sure it really is providing content, and they'll give you feedback on it when you ask them for it. That helps you refine what you're doing. Them putting it out there to their list expands your reach. So now your training program's gone out to a lot of people. That 1-hour program, you can expand. Let's say you make it a 3-hour program and now you sell it. You sell it to your email list. You sell it on your social media sites, on your website. You put it out there as something people can sign up for. Hey, I'm doing a 3-hour program. Here's the topic. Now, when you choose topics for these, tie them to your coaching niche area. In other words, if you are coaching executives in the C-suite and you're going to do a training program on writing a resume, there's a disconnect. Alternatively, if you're doing career coaching, a training program on writing a resume is fabulous. It ties in directly to what you do as a coach. So, 1-hour programs. If you're selling a 1-hour program, do it really, $5, $10, that kind of thing, because it's more about getting yourself out there. Offering it with other organizations is a way you reach their list. Taking that same program and expanding it into a 3-hour gives you an opportunity to really add depth to the content, go further with what you're putting out there, and it gives you something you can sell. So let's say this. Let's say you sell a 3-hour program. Let's say you sell it for $30 and 10 people sign up. You're going to make $300 for your 3-hour program. When you've done it once, you get to refine it and do it again and use it more. So developing that training program is a value add for you. It's a value add for clients. and it's a great way to build your coaching business. You're demonstrating your credibility, people get to hear your expertise, and frequently they're then talking to you. Now, if you really want to go places with this, consider a 6-hour program or even a 2-day. Sometimes it's pure training, sometimes it's a retreat, sometimes you're combining your group coaching and your training. If you're in an area that has a lot of people around, offering a Saturday class or a weekend retreat makes a lot of sense. People get to come and engage, they experience, they learn valuable content, they participate in different activities with other people, they get to know you. You're making money by offering the program, and you will find people want to hire you as a coach after going through that program. It just makes sense. It's a fabulous business builder. On that same note, speaking. One of the best ways to build your coaching business is through training and speaking, getting yourself out there. Now think about what the opportunities are for speaking engagements. On the entry-level point, there are hundreds and hundreds of groups that get together either weekly or monthly, and they are looking for a speaker each time they get together. The favorite example I talk to people about is Rotary Club. Rotary Club meets every week, and every week they are looking for a speaker. You go in, you do a 30-40-minute presentation. Yeah, they buy you lunch. Maybe they give you a pen or a mug or something like that. You're not going to get paid for doing that. And think about who you're talking to. These are all business people. They may be looking for a coach, or they know someone who's looking for a coach. And getting in front of that group is a fabulous opportunity for you to demonstrate your credibility, and people will come up and ask for your business card. It's a great way to get yourself out there. So those speaking engagements, now take it up to the next level. Many of these groups also do conferences on a regular basis. And when they do conferences, they have a budget to actually pay their speakers. So there's an opportunity there. Programs that meet on a monthly basis, some of them have money to pay an honorarium to their speakers, some don't. Very often if they pay an honorarium, it's minimal. It's $100 or something like that. Well, that's great. Get yourself out there, because by speaking to that group, again, you're demonstrating your credibility, and now people know about you, and they'll know how to find you, how to connect with you. Great opportunity. Publishing is huge. Okay, really, really important in the coaching space. So how do you publish? Where do you publish? Well, those of you who have taken the coach training, one of the big things we do is offer the opportunity to write a chapter in the book. We put the book out every year, and the chapters are written by different coaches who have gone through the training program. So getting published, we make it super easy. You draft a chapter, we put you in teams, and you share your chapter with someone on your team, you get feedback, you share it with someone else, etc. So by the time that chapter is published, you've gotten feedback from several people. We do a final content editing and then the final editing and layout, and you're a published author. Alternatively, you can publish articles. There are great places online where you can go publish articles. That's called content marketing. You're getting the information out there, demonstrating your expertise. You can publish in newsletters for other organizations. Think about it. Who's your ideal client, and what do they read? What organization newsletter is of interest to them? And you submit an article to that organization's newsletter. And by publishing that, you're getting your expertise out there. You're demonstrating what it is you offer. So that's huge, making yourself available that way. Another very common one is a blog. Well, a blog's great in terms of your website. It's the #1 way to increase visibility on your website, because you're publishing stories consistently. There's new content, and then there's links going back into your website. So that's fabulous in terms of the publishing side. Well, the other thing that happens is you can guest blog. You can take your article and put it on someone else's blog. Again, a fabulous way to publish and to get found. You're demonstrating credibility with the content, and people are finding you because you're putting that information out there and providing that content. That's huge. Okay, lots of different ways. Bottom line, in terms of really growing a coaching business, the planning you do ahead of time, being prepared and planning, makes a difference. It shows up in everything else you're doing. How you organize your business, how you set yourself up, shows up in everything that you're doing. So that's huge. When you're starting, having those pieces in place makes it easier for you to be effective when you're getting out there. Plus, you're more confident when you're getting out there. Now, I'm talking about specific opportunities here in terms of training, speaking, and publishing. These are the #1 way for building your business. This is how you're going to get referrals in addition to your existing network and clients, because people that are attending these different programs or reading your content are going to let other people know about you and what you do. Another one I'm going to say is just talk to people. It's amazing how often you will connect. So everywhere you go, be open to having the conversation, whether you're going out to a movie, going out to dinner, sitting in an airplane, wherever you are, talk about what you do and be confident in what you offer. What are some of the resources to support you doing this? Okay, several. The International Coach Federation, I mentioned them briefly. That's huge. If you're going to build a coaching business, you absolutely want that connection. The Center for Coaching Certification has resources available to you. Our sister company, the Center for Coaching Solutions, our online directory, the blogs, the books, and the free webinars we do. These are all resources for you so that you're building your coaching business. Okay. Coach Federation. First off, if you're going to build your business, go back to having that membership. Being able to say, yes, I'm a member of the International Coach Federation is changing which opportunities are available to you. It's also helping you on the cost for your insurance. It's a professional membership organization. They're nonprofit. You sign up, you have an annual membership. They have the membership requirements. If you're building a coaching business, yes. Membership in the Coach Federation, absolutely. Okay, that's their website. They are a great organization. They are our gold standard in coaching, so go check them out. Yes, I'm a member. Okay, now the Center for Coaching Certification. I mentioned earlier that on our resources page, we have links to all these great places in terms of helping you with your coaching business, the Small Business Administration, Small Business Development Centers, etc. We also have links to some of those places where you can find speaking opportunities and opportunities to offer training programs. So go check out our resources page. If you want pure, hey, the preparation and training side, there's lots of recommended reading on the resources page. So the Center for Coaching Certification is definitely an option for you. Obviously, many of you have done the training. Many of you are exploring your options. We do hope you're checking us out in terms of options for training. Okay, Center for Coaching Solutions. If you are a coach and you want more work, let me share what this is. This is an organization that is actively marketing coaching services to businesses. When we have those contracts, the coaches we use are ones that have completed their certification with the Center for Coaching Certification. So I know about half of you this is going to apply. We are literally actively marketing and seeking coaching contracts, and we want coaches who can then do the work. If you tell us you're available, then we know you're available, and that's good. If you don't tell us you're available, we don't know. At this point, we have too many coaches, so we may or may not know to contact you and say, hey, do you want some work? Come contact us. Let us know you want the work. Next, if you are marketing yourself to individuals, the directory, Find a Certified Coach, gives you an option there. So on that website, you have your bio. You have a link to your website. That's great for your search engine optimization, by the way. People can see your phone number, they can see your email, and they can contact you when they are looking to hire a coach. Now the difference here, this is one that is specifically targeted to you marketing yourself individually. So that's available to you. Next, in terms of the blog, we have a blog at coachingblog.centerforcoachingcertification.com. You can get to it from the website, or you can just put in this URL and check it out. In addition to content and supporting you, because we do articles regularly on building your coaching business, it's also an opportunity for you for getting yourself out there. Be a guest blogger. As a matter of fact, we've got a blog that's going to post next week on Monday, and I know that the person who wrote that blog is actually on the call today because I'm seeing their name here. Haven't told you yet when it was going up. We're planning on that going up next Monday, so we're excited about that. All right. I mentioned getting published. So every year we publish another edition of Coaching Perspectives, the most recent one being 3. We're currently fast and furious working on number 4. So for coaches that have gone through the program, it's a way to get yourself published. For those of you that are building a business, there are great chapters in these books because these are your colleagues, and many of them are talking about building their business, marketing themselves, etc. So it's a great resource on both sides of the table, one for the information and the other for you getting yourself out there on the credibility. Another resource, of course, is these free continuing education. Okay, so yeah, this is free continuing education for you. It's also an opportunity for you to get yourself out there. We talked about doing a presentation. Well, every other month we do a free 60-minute program. And if you want to be the one offering that program, we promote it to our list. The recordings of these programs then go on to our YouTube channel, and people can come back to our YouTube channel and see it and still find your information. So it's got a shelf life in addition to being here. So that's another great opportunity for you. Okay. I want to offer a couple of things to everyone that's here. First off, a free consultation. So if you're here and you want 30 minutes to talk about your business in particular, what you want to do with your coaching, etc., I'm available to you. How am I going to make that happen? Well, after the webinar today, what I'm going to do is load the recording on the YouTube channel. When I do that, I'm going to email everyone who registered, and I'm saying, hey, here's a link to the recording on the YouTube channel. And in that same email, I'm going to offer you that free 30 minutes. If you reply to the email and say, yeah, I want that free 30 minutes, then what I will do is email you a link to my calendar. And you can just click that link. It takes you right into my calendar on the internet. You can choose a 30-minute time slot that looks good for you, and you just put in your name and phone number. Do click all the way through to make sure you're actually scheduled. You'll get a confirmation email of it, and then it gets loaded into my calendar, and we'll talk at that time. The idea of offering this is, I get it, this is a free 60-minute program. There's a lot to cover, and I have to go through it really fast, and you want to know about what's pertinent to you. So that's what this is for. Take advantage of that. Now, of course, your next step is looking at, okay, what are the resources you want? So start choosing. There are resources available to you in terms of your preparation, your planning, you're getting yourself out there and marketing your business, growing your business, etc. So figure out what makes sense for you and when it makes sense for you, and then you're setting yourself up for achieving the results. Okay. I believe I have answered all of your questions that came in ahead of time. I'm loving the comments that I'm getting in the question panel. I do want to open this up and invite more questions. So please either raise your hand or type them in on the question panel. So my objective now is to be available to you for those questions. I definitely want to say thank you to all of you. I appreciate your time today, your participation in the conversation, and now it's open to the question answer time. While I'm waiting for some of you to start typing questions in, I've got a bunch of you, and I'm guessing you're all waiting to see what everyone else is asking. So I'm hoping you're going to get started and start asking questions. In terms of some of the questions that came in ahead of time, as far as the, let's see, several of you talked about ideas for moving your business forward, getting it off the ground, etc. So hopefully we've given you some of the basics. I know we did go through really quick. For those of you that are certified coaches, because I'm seeing some of these questions came from certified coaches, on the coach login page, one of the tools that is available to you is a worksheet called Action Steps to Build a Coaching Business. And in that worksheet, it literally has you planning, okay, I'm going to do this step and when you're going to do it and your time commitment, etc. So absolutely a great way to go with that. Check that out. Okay, so Marion, thanks for that question. She said, what program do you recommend for taking notes? My personal favorite is called Mind Mapper, and it's on mindmapper.com. Mind Mapper does cost. It's a software you have to buy. I bought it years ago, and boy, I'm not willing to give it up. I love it so much because it makes it super easy for me to take notes during the coaching conversation and then push a button and my notes go straight into an outline format and I can email them to the client. So literally as I'm hanging up the phone with my coaching clients, I'm emailing them the notes from our conversation. And it's a fabulous tool. So I love that in terms of the note-taking side of it. So the questions that have been asked on starting a coaching business, I'm hoping we address that. To go into a little more depth and detail, of course, when you go into business, one of the steps is legal. How are you setting up your business? You've got to check with your local government. You've got to check with your state government. You've got to check in terms of on the federal side, hey, what do I want to know about? So typically people look at with their Secretary of State, whether they're setting it up as a sole proprietor, a partnership, or a corporation. I do want to share with you, corporation offers some protection. It's just as easy as setting up a sole proprietor or a partnership, if not easier. Most often you can do it right online, filling in information, checking some boxes, etc., and then paying the fee. So looking at a C Corp or an LLC helps you in terms of the liability factor, etc. So you set up that legal side. On the federal side, once you have your legal side in your state, you're getting your employer identification number. That's basically a tax ID for a business, and that's what you're doing there. From there, it's all of the pieces in terms of your business plan, your marketing plan, your website, and getting yourself out there. So hopefully that's answering that. All right, a couple more coming in. Okay, so a question on notes. I do email my client the notes after every session. My one exception is the opening session because I use those notes in session 2. So that's the only time I'm not emailing my client all of the notes. I find that clients love it. As a coach, it's a true value add. They have an outline of our conversation, they have their action steps listed, etc., and they literally have it within minutes of our coaching conversation. So I find it's incredibly valuable to do that. It is important when you're emailing a client notes that you're making sure which email address you're using, because chances are they don't want you using a company email. That content's owned by the company. So checking in with them on that conversation. Okay, insurance for a coaching business. So there's a couple of kinds of insurance. You want to have a conversation with at least 3 different agents. One kind of insurance is what we all know of as business insurance. That's your basic liability. Then there's what's called professional liability. Some insurance agents call it errors and omissions insurance. It's the kind of insurance that real estate agents, attorneys, counselors, professional trainers all use errors and omissions or professional liability. It's insurance based on the service. The idea behind that kind of insurance is if somebody says, oh, you told me to do this and I did and it messed up my life and it's your fault, and they sue you, that's what it's going to cover. So the business liability and then professional liability. Do talk to people, several agents about both kinds and get the information. It's funny how often insurance agents actually don't even know about professional liability, because it's still not the norm for them. Increasingly, they're learning about it. So do your homework on that. In terms of cost, for most of you to have those two policies, you're probably looking at $1,000 to $1,500 a year as far as expenses. So check that out and do ask. So great question there. I'm back to, and thanks for the thank yous. I appreciate that, and thank you as well. I am back to, I believe I've answered your questions. Okay, so here's one on what are some different strategies as far as the marketing. Okay, strategies go back to what is it you want to accomplish. So is this to build your email list? Well, if that's the case, the strategies are going to be things like offering a free newsletter, promoting your newsletter through your social media, etc., giving people a reason to sign up for it. Alternatively, the strategy may be to gain referrals, and that's where some of the speaking to groups where you hope to get referrals out of it, in addition to, of course, the possibility of an actual client being in that room. Then public speaking makes sense. Okay, I'm going to get my name out there. I'm going to build my credibility. It's going to give me a way to get referrals from people I don't know yet as far as that goes. So that's a different kind of strategy. Offering the training programs, well, that is a strategy where you're demonstrating your credibility, you're earning some money, and you will find participants are interested in coaching services. So that's incredibly effective as well. The networking events, in your area are huge. It's a way to start meeting people, etc. How you network is huge. There are some great programs that teach effective networking. You can see all kinds of videos, for example, on YouTube. We have one where they did a great presentation in one of these free webinars on our YouTube channel talking about how to network and do it well. So that's a great opportunity. Of course, you're networking online through the social media sites. And then back to that good old just talk about it. It's so much fun. When you go places and have conversations, you'll engage with people, and it's a great opportunity. My favorite example that I share is my husband and I went out to eat, and we sat at what's called a community table, a restaurant where they have this big table and groups of 1 or 2 that come in, and there's no room in the restaurant. They put them there, and they all eat together. And it's really fun. You meet some great people that way. Well, I got into a conversation with somebody doing that, ended up coaching them, then their partner, then a key employee, then another key employee. Then they sent me to one of their best customers. So it was this one conversation over dinner, and I ended up with 5 coaching clients out of it. So being comfortable and confident in what you do. Of course, that goes back to your initial steps, the preparation and the planning, because then when you are out and talking about it, you feel good about what you're talking about and offering. So great question there. The strategies in terms of PR and marketing are going to be tied directly to what it is you want to accomplish. And it's that full range. It's having the website. It's getting out on the social media. It's publishing blogs, articles, a book. It is offering programs, whether you're speaking, training, short program, longer program, etc. All of those are tools for gaining paying clients. Of course, the online directory, and then, of course, for those of you that are certified with us, let us know you want work because we are actively working on those proposals and getting more work for coaches. So great questions there. I definitely appreciate all the thank yous. I do realize we are coming up on our time, so definitely in the wrap-up stage. Those of you that do have to go, you've scheduled other things, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I will email, of course, all of you the link to the recording on YouTube. Let me know what else I can do to be helpful to you. So thank you, everyone.